Welcome into Week 3 of the All-Time Rosters franchise, the greatest New England Patriots against the greatest Buffalo Bills. A classic showdown between two Hall of Fame quarterbacks. We pick up the action of the second quarter, Kelly finding Knox for the 17-yarder, and then from 14, Brady finds his best receiver, Randy Moss, on a one-hand catch. Then he broke his collarbone on this play, and the star receiver will miss the next 9 games. A huge loss for the New England offense. Who's going to step up at receiver for the Patriots this season? Most likely Stanley Morgan. He catches the touchdown to tie the game. Thomas gives Buffalo the third quarter lead, and then the Patriots presume to go 3 and out. Brady sacked at the 42-yard line. But Kelly immediately gives the ball back to New England on a Ty Law interception with 3:43 to go. Brady, clutch throughout the fourth quarter, finds Morgan on 3rd and 3, and then finds Welker, who makes a circus catch on 3rd and 2, and upon further review, he was in bounds. What a grab with one hand, too. And then 2 plays later at the 13-yard line, Brady to Brown for the 13-yard score to tie the game. Brown and Brady were critical in the early success of the Patriots dynasty in the 2000s. Kelly, part of the dynastic Bills of the 90s, marched downfield for Buffalo. Third down conversion to Diggs, then with time winding down, he converts 3rd and long again. Ryan Lindell on to win the game, and he caps off this thrilling back-and-forth battle with the walk-off field goal for Buffalo, who knock out the division rivals 20-17. Battle of the winless all-time Lions and the winless all-time Vikings. And, you know, nobody wanted to win this game. Tarkenton loses a fumble here, picked up by Alex Harris. Just the first of a host of turnovers in this one. Paul Krause, the all-time interception leader in the National Football League, brings it back 100 yards for a touchdown, too. That would wind up being the only points of the day from Minnesota. Sam Laporta loses a fumble here, and just 2 plays later, they give it right back to Wesley Walker. Bobby Lane finds his Hall of Fame receiver who went for 120 yards on the day, and Detroit holds on to win against Minnesota. Really an ugly football game for both. Vikings are now 0-3. A division battle out of the NFC East from the link in Philadelphia, and this was no contest. Randall Cunningham, the #1 rushing quarterback in the league and one of the most efficient passers too, lifts Philly in front 16-0, and Manning and the Giants go 4 and out. An incredible beatdown of the Giants, 16-0. Christian McCaffrey is one of the greatest running backs in 49er history and in Panther history. Most rushing yards per game all time for Carolina. He scores the first points against Jacksonville in Charlotte, and then in comes Newton and Steve Smith, who combined for this dazzling 71-yard score. The Panthers appeared on that touchdown to all but put it away of 17-3. Then Jacksonville kicks 2 second-half field goals, and Mark Brunell's driving. Third down conversions to both Christian Kirk once and then Christian Kirk twice. And then after the first down to Jones-Drew, the Jaguars down by 8, in position to force overtime again. After the incompletion, it's Brunell on 4th down, and Julius Peppers, one of the greatest linebackers in the history of the game, brings down the quarterback and secures the Carolina win, 17-9. We all know the all-time 49ers is this incredible offense, but let's not forget about this, the #7 defense in the league this year, and their Hall of Fame corners led by Deion Sanders. He brings back his first interception of the year for the San Francisco touchdown, but the pesky Bengals wouldn't go away. With under 2 minutes left, Anderson finds Trumpy, and then needing a field goal to take the lead, Anderson makes a huge mistake, picked off by Jimmy Johnson. The Niners run out the clock and knock out the Bengals 15-13. The loser of this game will join Cincinnati at 0-3 this season. It is the all-time Texans and the all-time Saints. Deshaun Watson does his best to lose it early in the game. The pick 6 from Dave Waymer helps give the Saints a 10-0 lead, but then Andre Johnson puts him right back in the game against, it seems, the entire Saint defense who came in late. Johnson reels in the touchdown. Field goal game, and then Watson commits another turnover, and the Saints return it into points. Off the recovery from Clark, Drew Brees finds Joe Horn to seal the Saints win. It's 20-13 New Orleans. The Saints will visit 1-2 Jacksonville next week. Meanwhile, Houston battles the Steelers. A battle of undefeateds in a game many anticipated to come down to the bitter end in Cleveland. But the Dolphins hit the road and they demolished the Browns. Opening drive ends with a Marino touchdown to Warfield, his first of the season. And then after the Morris score, it's Ricky Williams in for 6. No contest from Cleveland. Dolphins 21, Browns 7. Running back Earl Campbell has just been marvelous for the all-time Tennessee Titans Houston Oilers mix of teams, and he was good again against the Broncos in Week 3. He finished the day with 13 carries for 109 yards and this dazzling touchdown to give the offense the early 7-3 lead. But Elway found his favorite target next. Demaryius Thomas, rest in peace, with not one but 2 touchdowns. And after 2-point conversion for the Broncos, they'd lead the game late. Little over 3 minutes left. Warren Moon splits the defense, and Charlie Hennigan goes 80 yards. Then Denver has a subsequent 3rd down stop, courtesy of the defense, giving Warren Moon and the Titans Oilers one more chance. He started the day, did the quarterback 3 for 11, but he caught fire in the 4th quarter. This one, Derek Mason to the 25, then out of timeouts, he throws it up for grabs, and the Ernest Givens catch, his first of the season, ties the game at 21, and he beat the Hall of Fame safety for the football, Steve Atwater, and we are headed to overtime. The Broncos get the first possession of OT, and in comes John Elway, who just couldn't make a decision on this play, and eventually is taken down for a Ray Childress sack, his second of the game. And given Warren Moon another chance, he was going to deliver. A first down there to Derek Mason, who was brilliant on the day, and he sets up Rob Baronis to cap off the masterful 4th quarter comeback. Down by 14 with 3 minutes left. It was the best comeback of any team this season. 255 yards out of Warren Moon, who was the offensive player of the week. And Terrell Davis, despite his outstanding day, the Broncos lose it in overtime. And now the all-time Titans Oilers are number 1 all alone in the AFC South. The all-time Chargers also can be all alone for first in their division with a win in Week 3 against Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes was outstanding, another 200 yards for the Chiefs quarterback. This touchdown to Burford and a 10-6 lead in the 4th quarter. Allworth's 9th catch of the day gave the Chargers the lead, but too much time for a Hall of Fame quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. One of the greatest ever to suit it up at the quarterback position, marches the Chiefs right downfield and finds the tight end, who scores his first touchdown of the season. And Kansas City, their defense playing well this season, nursing a 4-point lead with under a minute to go. No problem for that secondary as the pass to Jefferson is knocked away. We now have a tie for first in the division. Patrick Mahomes, a big reason why. Another big day for the quarterback, and the Chiefs win by 4. The all-time Ravens and the all-time Rams. Hall of Fame performance from both Kurt Warner and Isaac Bruce. This a one-hand touchdown to give the Rams the lead, 127 yards at the half and 170 yards for the day. Second most among all receivers in Week 3. Lamar Jackson throws a rare touchdown to running back Ray Rice to give the Ravens the late lead, but then in comes Warner, big time in the clutch against this defense. Bruce again past the secondary for another huge catch, his final on the day. Wilkins hit the field goal, and the Rams receive it to begin overtime. St. Louis, LA only threw the ball once on that 3-and-out overtime drive, giving the lowest-rated quarterback in the league this season a chance in overtime to march Baltimore downfield, and he'd do just that. Given a chance for the greatest kicker arguably in the history of the game, Justin Tucker, he wasn't going to miss, and the Ravens knock out the Rams by 3. Old school showdown out of the AFL between the all-time Jets and the all-time Raiders. Stabler was 23 of 30 on an outstanding day and had no problems targeting Fred Biletnikoff. The receiver scores twice for the Raiders and an Oakland-Las Vegas blowout, 24-7. The Raiders play host to the Patriots next week. For those of you who missed the full game special presentation of the all-time Packers and the all-time Bears, it was a good one between 2-0 clubs from Soldier Field in Chicago. Willie Wood got the scoring start into the middle of the second quarter with a pick six of Sid Luckman, but the Bears, to their credit, came battling back in a thrilling second half. Walter Payton scored this touchdown to trim the lead to a field goal. Payton did lose a fumble to close the third, and Green Bay began the fourth quarter with the first of two fourth-quarter touchdowns from running back Jim Taylor, who's now healthy for the Packers, and Green Bay crushes their division rival 27-10 and is all alone for first in the NFC North. Hall of Fame quarterback Tom Brady was good yet again for Tampa Bay in a Week 3 battle against the all-time Falcons. Brady, 23 of 37 with 270 yards, a touchdown and an interception, more than good enough to knock out Atlanta 20-7 in Tampa Bay. The Bucs are one of the final undefeated teams in the league this season and a full 2 games in front of the rest of the NFC South. NFC West showdown from Seattle, the all-time Cardinals and the all-time Seahawks. Seattle's had a rough year offensively, but Sean Alexander and quarterback Russell Wilson had their best games of the season against Arizona St. Louis. Brian Blades deep for the 40-yard touchdown, and to seal the win of the fourth quarter, Defensive Player of the Week, Richard Sherman with the pick six. So the Cardinals, Anquan Boldin tore his pectoral muscle. He's out for the season. The Cardinals are going to need to make some amends at receiver, and David Boston did that today. It was a Cardinal loss, but Boston had one of the great performances at receiver in a long time. Hart goes for 336 and 191 yards to this new emerging superstar receiver, David Boston. Sunday night football between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Indianapolis-Baltimore Colts, and this game didn't disappoint. Pittsburgh was the better team early in the game. Roethlisberger with 2 touchdowns in the first half, one to Eric Green, and then that one to Lynn Swann. Lenny Moore's biggest run of the day, however, sparked a Colts comeback. Manning to Harrison, 2 Steelers field goals, and then Manning to Raymond Barrett for 83 yards and the fourth quarter lead. Pittsburgh needed to make something happen, but the offense was a no-show in the second half. Luckily for them, the steel curtain delivered, as Moore loses a fumble and Donnie Shell scoops and Donnie Shell scores. James Harrison, the Steeler linebacker, forced 2 fumbles on the day, and that one results in 6. So the Colts' Peyton Manning, who has been terrific in so many fourth-quarter comebacks, finds the Hall of Fame tight end twice. That's John Mackey inside to the 10. But with the game on the line, Manning cost them the win, or at least overtime, with an end zone interception for the guy who I think is the greatest defensive back in the history of the game, Rod Woodson. He can do it all. He can cover, he can hit, he can rush the quarterback, and he can win the game for the Steelers 28-21. Manning with another star performance for the Colts, but his Indianapolis Colts are now 1-2. Meanwhile, the Steelers reign supreme in the AFC North at 3-0. And finally, Monday Night Football from Dallas, featuring the all-time Redskins Commanders, who take the early lead on a Bobby Mitchell touchdown, and the all-time 1-1 Dallas Cowboys. It was 14-10, but then Roy Williams at the goal line, in for the injured Cliff Harris, intercepts the pass and gives the Cowboys a chance, but Staubach and company went 3 and out 2 times in a row. And Larry Brown helps seals the win, the former MVP running back, with the victory for Washington 17-10. In the NFC East, it is Washington at 3-0. They visit the Rams next week. Only 6 teams remain undefeated in the all-time rosters franchise: Packers, Dolphins, Redskins, Commanders, Bucks, Steelers, and Niners. Here's a look at some of the leaders through Week 3 of the NFL's all-time rosters franchise. Dan Fouts in passing, Curtis Martin by a mile in rushing, and Don Hudson in receiving. This is the series that determined the greatest team in the history of the National Football League, with the greatest 53 players of each and every NFL franchise. It was a painstaking process, including a preseason where the teams trimmed their rosters to 53, and as we head further, we have more full game broadcasts, analysis, and insights across the league. Join us also on DreamSeasonFootballLeague.com for access throughout the season. This is the all-time rosters franchise with Charger Dude 95.